Okay, so for any e-commerce brand out there going global, I mean, that's the dream, right? It's the ultimate growth hack. The prize is absolutely massive. But there's this hidden barrier, this thing that stops most brands dead in their tracks, long before a single product even leaves the warehouse. And trust me, it's probably not what you're thinking.
So, let me ask you this directly. What's the very first thing that pops into your head when you think about taking your brand international? What's that one big thing that makes you kind of pause and hesitate?
I'm willing to bet it was one of these, right? The usual suspects. Customs, shipping, taxes, the whole shebang. And look, you're not wrong. Those are definitely major hurdles. But here's the thing. They're all solvable problems. The real reason so many brands just stay put is something way deeper.
And we really have to talk about why this matters, because the stakes just couldn't be higher. Expanding into huge markets like the UK and the EU isn't just a nice-to-have. For a lot of brands, it's the single biggest growth opportunity available. So why on earth are so many of them leaving all that money on the table?
This is what's so wild about global e-commerce. You've got these brands that have the funding, they have the ambition, their product is a perfect fit for a new market, and still, they're stuck. They're just paralyzed. It's like the rocket is sitting there on the launch pad, all fueled up, but the ignition sequence just never, ever starts. What is going on?
So, let's just take a moment and acknowledge those usual suspects. These are the external barriers that everyone sees, and yeah, they are very, very real.
You really do have a whole checklist of logistical nightmares, right? You're navigating this maze of tax and consumer laws, trying to get the right product certifications, figuring out how to handle returns from thousands of miles away, and then there's the massive upfront cost of international warehousing. These are all super complex problems, but here's the secret. They're problems with known solutions. But what if we're looking at this all wrong? What if these are just the symptoms and not the actual disease? What if the real barrier isn't a logistical problem at all, but something much, much closer to home?
Because the real barrier, the one that absolutely kills global ambitions before they even get off the ground, it isn't on a customs form. It's inside the mind of the founder.
Seriously, think about it. Before you can even begin to tackle customs or taxes.
The real challenge is your mindset. It's this psychological knot that ties up founders and their teams, and it completely prevents them from taking that first crucial step. And the source material for this whole explainer puts it just perfectly. The greatest challenge is often the mindset behind the decision.
So this slide really breaks it down into two different paths. On one side, you've got this fear-based hesitation. That anxiety about losing control, the feeling of what if about new markets, that real reluctance to let go. But on the other side, that's the confidence-based strategy. That's about trusting expert partners, making decisions based on cold, hard data, and just moving forward with clarity. Seriously, if you ever catch yourself thinking, nobody can do this but me, well, you might be stuck on that left side.
And a hesitant mindset doesn't just put a stop to the decision. It actually creates cracks in your operational foundation. It means you are just not ready for what's coming. And this is exactly where that mindset problem turns into a logistics nightmare. See, a lack of confidence leads to a lack of preparation, and that exposes a super critical weakness, poor supply chain visibility. All of a sudden you realize you don't actually have a clear view of your own operations, and by the time you're trying to launch in a new country, it's just way too late. A single weak link in this chain can literally sink your entire launch. You don't know your manufacturing lead times? You're going to run out of stock. You don't understand the local packaging rules? Guess what? Your shipment gets held up in customs. You botch your demand forecast? Well, you're either completely out of stock or you're drowning in inventory. Every single mistake costs you money. And worse, it alienates your new customers.
And the stakes are at their absolute highest during what's called the honeymoon period on platforms like Amazon. You basically get one shot at a launch, this temporary boost in visibility. A prepared launch captures all that momentum and turns it into long-term success. An unprepared one completely squanders it, and you might never, ever recover.
So how do you break out of this cycle of fear and hesitation? The trick isn't to be fearless, it's to be prepared. There is a strategic framework for winning this global game.
So here it is. This is the playbook for global success. First, you've got to conquer your mindset. Find partners who give you the confidence to actually move forward. Second, build a rock-solid operational foundation with total supply chain visibility. Third,
Be smart about it. Go in and validate demand in a new market before you go all in on logistics. And finally, prepare intelligently. You have to align your logistics, marketing, and compliance before you hit that big launch button.
At the end of the day, success in global e-commerce, it's not a race, it's a chess match. It's not about being the fastest out of the gate, it's about being the smartest and the most prepared. It's all about intelligent preparation, not just raw speed.
And this isn't just some theory, it's a proven strategy. The source for this explainer, a company called Expandly, has actually used this exact approach to help over 2,000 brands go global. By aligning strategy, operations, and compliance, they literally replace all that uncertainty with confidence. So I'll leave you with the question you really need to ask yourself. Is your brand actually built to expand? With the right mindset and the operational visibility to win anywhere in the world? Or is it just built to ship from your home country? The answer to that question will define the future of your brand on the global stage.